One protocol after another has been dropping their old cross-chain bridge and moving to Chainlink CCIP. And I'm not talking about the small players, I'm talking about $15 billion in value switching infrastructure providers. So let's talk about why it's happening and what it actually means. Before I start, please subscribe as it would mean a lot. It starts with a problem. DeFi is supposed to give anyone with an internet connection access to financial services around the clock. That's at least a promise, but that promise only works if the infrastructure underneath can actually be trusted with real money at scale. And over the past year, that trust took some serious hits. Cross-chain bridges and data oracles got exploited, and hundreds of millions of dollars disappeared because of it. The clearest example happened in April, when an exploit tied to LayerZero's infrastructure led to roughly $300 million in losses across DeFi. KelpDAO, one of the protocols affected, put out a public statement about it and made a decision that a lot of other teams would end up making too. They migrated their staked ETH assets to Chainlink CCIP, and once that started, it didn't stop. BitGo moved wrapped Bitcoin and every future BitGo issued assets to CCIP, which by itself is $7.7 billion in value. Kraken did the same for Kraken wrapped Bitcoin, over $300 million there. Lombard migrated its Bitcoin-backed assets, LBTC and BTCB, north of $1 billion combined. Solv protocol moved its tokenized Bitcoin products, Solv Bitcoin and XSolv Bitcoin, over 700 million. Then you've got Mantle, Visuals Protocol, 10bit and others, all making the same call for their own ecosystems. And Lido, the largest liquid staking protocol in the world, is running $20 billion in wrapped ETH exclusively through CCIP. Add all those migrations up, and that's where the $15 billion comes from. And that's before you even count Lido's 20 billion, since that one was already running on CCIP before this wave started. So why is everyone landing on the same answer? A few reasons, and they're worth breaking down because they explain a lot about how institutional grade infrastructure actually gets built. First, every CCIP lane starts from the same strong security baseline instead of being configured ad hoc per integration. Second, each lane is validated by at least 16 independent node operators spread across different organizations and infrastructure setups, so there's no single point of failure sitting underneath billions of dollars. Third, CCIP has built-in rate limits that act like circuit breakers. If something abnormal starts happening on lane, the amount of value that can move through it is capped, which contains the damage instead of letting it spread. And fourth, CCIP underpins the cross-chain token standard, which lets issuers expand to new chains without fragmenting their liquidity into a dozen different wrapped versions of the same asset. There's also a paper trail here that matters. Chainlink is the only Oracle platform with both SOC2 and Type 2 and ISO 20001 certification. For a retail trader that might sound like a footnote, but on the institutional level, deciding where to route billions of dollars, that's the kind of independent validation that actually gets the project through a risk committee. Since launching in 2019, Chainlink has secured more than $32 trillion in transaction value across 75 blockchains, and it powers something like 70% of the entire DeFi markets already. Swift, Euroclear, UBS, Wellington Management, ANZ, and Fidelity International are all building with the same infrastructure that DeFi protocols just migrated to. I've covered this many times in other videos, so make sure to check those out as well. When retail-facing protocols and the world's largest financial institutions are converging on the same security standard, that tells you something about where the bar is heading for everyone else. This migration wave probably isn't finished either. Every time a bridge exploit makes headlines, more teams start asking the same questions these protocols just answered. As more real value moves on-chain and across chains, the cost of cutting corners on security keeps going up, and infrastructure that's been proving under pressure keeps looking like the safer bet. That's why so many of these traditional financial institutions that are looking to do things with blockchain or on-chain are now looking at Chainlink for a lot of these solutions. So if you want to follow along with this journey and keep updated with everything Chainlink related, make sure to follow this channel and I'll definitely make some more videos very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye bye.